Good afternoon, children. I'm Teacher Loida, your teacher today for Clyde Module 9A and 9B, terminating and repeating non-terminating decimal quotient. Our objectives for today: differentiate terminating from repeating non-terminating decimal quotients. Second, solve routine and non-routine problems involving division of decimals, mixed decimals, whole numbers, including money, using appropriate problems, strategies, and tools. Children, are you ready to learn? Let's study now. Now let's have the review of the previous lesson before we proceed to our new topic. Give mentally the quotient of the following numbers. Let's have number 1. 2 and 4/10 divided by 10 equals n. So children, think of the answer. So what is your answer now? Very good. The answer is 24 hundredths. Let's have another number. 5 and 28 hundredths divided by 1/10 equals n. Find the answer for that number 2. So your answer is 52 and 8/10, right? Number 3, 56 and 6/10 divided by 100 equals n. So you have to think of the number of the answer. Your answer is 566,000. Very good. Number 4, what is the quotient of dividing 7 and 23 hundredths by 100? Let's have now the answer. Right, your answer is 723. And the last one, find the quotient of dividing 4 and 34 hundredths by 1,000. Think of the answer. Good job. Your answer is 4,340. Today, we will study changing fractions to decimals to identify terminating decimal and repeating decimal or non-terminating decimal. What is 1/2? Divide 1/2, divide 1 divided by 2 equals n, or divide the numerator by the denominator. 1 divided by 2 cannot be, so you have to add 1. You have to add 0 to the dividend. Can we divide 10 by 2? Yes. What is the answer, children? 5 times 2 equals 10. 10 minus 10 is equals to 0. Bring down 0. 0 divided by 2 equals 0. 0 times 2 equals 0. 0 minus 0 is equals to 0. Now, children, as you look at the remainder is 0. Now, let us identify the answer or the quotient if that is terminating decimal or non-terminating decimal. So if the remainder is 0, and the answer is 50 hundredths, that is what we call the terminating decimal. Remember that if the remainder is 0, again, we call it as terminating decimal. Now, let's have problem solving. We are going to read and analyze the problem. In your previous lesson, you have learned already the different steps in problem solving. For this problem, it says that Mr. Gomez bought 89 kilogram of rambutan. The reading of the scale was 888,000. Did Mr. Gomez get what he bought? What are we going to look for in the problem? So the problem is asking for what is asked in the problem. What are we going to find out in the problem? So let's have 8 divided by 9. When 8 is divided by 9, we do not get the remainder equal to 0. The quotient is 88 thousandths, wherein 8 repeats itself in a decimal part. Now, as you look at the remainder will never be 0. The division does not end or terminate. 8 over 9 equals 888 thousandths. The 3 dots indicates that 8 repeats. The remainder is 8, so let us identify if the quotient is terminating decimal or repeating or non-terminating decimals. So let us guess the answer, children. So we can write it by placing a bar above the repeating digit or non-terminating decimal in the quotient. So let's have 8 over 9 equals 8 tenths with bar on top of 8. The answer is 88 thousandths or 8 tenths with bar on top of 8. What do you think is the answer, children? Is it terminating decimal or repeating decimal? Very good, children. The answer is repeating or non-terminating decimal. Remember that a bar above a number is used to indicate that the digit repeats. Let's have another number. What is 3/8? Change 3/8 into decimal. 3 divided by 8. Tell whether the decimal is terminating decimal or repeating decimal or non-terminating decimal. Any rational number that is a fraction can be written as either terminating decimal or repeating non-terminating decimal. Now, as you look at the answer is 375,000. What is our remainder, children? Yes, 0 is the remainder. Now, let us identify if terminating or repeating decimal. 3 divided by 8 equals 375,000. And we said that if the remainder is 0, the decimal is terminating decimal. How can we differentiate terminating decimal from repeating non-terminating quotients? Terminating decimal if the remainder end with 0. Again, terminating decimal if the remainder end with 0. While repeating or non-terminating decimal if the remainder not end with 0, and the remainder will begin to repeat after some point. The three dots or a bar used to indicate the repeating part of a decimal number. Once more, the three dots or a bar used to indicate repeating part of a decimal number. Alright, children, let's have some activity so that we can identify terminating or repeating decimal. Write each fraction as a decimal. State whether the decimal is terminating decimal or repeating decimal. Number 1, 79 to decimal. How can we change 79 into decimal? Let us answer some of the activity. Write each fraction as a decimal. State whether the decimal is terminating decimal or repeating decimal. Let's have number 1. Change 7/9 to decimal. How can you express 7/9 into decimal form, children? Yes, your answer is 777 thousandths or 7 with bar on top. Identify now, terminating or repeating decimal. Yes, all your answer is correct. Repeating decimal. Let's have number 2. What is 7/11? How will you express in decimal form? Your answer is correct. 6,363 10,000ths or 63 with bar on top. Identify now, terminating or repeating decimal. Yes, your answer is repeating decimal. Now let's have number 3. Is 3/4 terminating or repeating decimal? Think of the answer, children. Good job! Your answer is terminating decimal. Let's have number 4. Which of these fraction is a terminating decimal? Letter A, 1/6. Letter B, 4/9. Letter C, 7/10. Letter D, 8/9. So what do you think is the terminating decimal? Right, the answer is 7/10 or letter C is terminating decimal. The last one, write the repeating decimal, 555 thousandths, using a notation bar. Think of the answer, children. Good job! 5 with bar on top. Our second objective, routine and non-routine problems involving division of decimals, mixed decimals, whole numbers, including money, using appropriate problems, strategies, and tools. Now let's have the problem. Read and analyze the problem. In your previous lesson, you have discussed already the different steps in problem solving. Now let's have problem in Mr. Gomez's computer shop. Mark paid 156 pesos and 80 centavos for 7 hours of surfing the net for his project. How much is the computer rent per hour? What are the steps in solving word problem? Step number 1, understand. Number 2, plan. And number 3, solve. Let us answer step number 1, understand. The question to be answered. What is asked in the problem? Based from the problem. Yes, good. The answer is the amount of computer rent per hour, or how much is the computer rent per hour. Another question for step number 1. What are the given facts or data? So the facts are 7 hours of computer rent, cost of 156 pesos and 80 centavos. Number 2 step, under plan. The question to be answered. What operation will be used to solve the problem? So you have to think the operation to be used in order to solve the problem. Yes, the answer is multiplication and division. Let's have step number 3, under solve. The question, write the number sentence, or another term for number sentence, we will have equations or mathematical sentence. So how will you write, children, the number sentence or the mathematical sentence in the problem? The operations are given while ago, multiplication and division. Let's have now the answer. Yes, very good. 156 pesos and 80 centavos divided by 7. 7 is the number of hours, equals n. So let's go back to what is asked in the problem. How much is the computer rent per hour? So let's have under step number 3. What is the complete answer, children? Based from what is asked in the problem. So that is 156 pesos and 80 centavos divided by 7 is the number of hours. The answer is 22 pesos and 40 centavos. Very good, children. The computer rent per hour is 22 pesos and 40 centavos. Good. Can we have another problem? Again, analyze the problem and answer the questions. Read the problem and then analyze while you are reading the problem. Sipnayan magazine had an introduction offer of 2,388 pesos and 75 centavos for 65 issues. What was the cost of a single issue? Again, what was the cost of a single issue? So children, let us answer all the steps in problem solving. Again, what is the first step in problem solving? Children. Yes, what is asked? Letter B, number 2 step. What are the given facts? Good. Next, what operation shall we use to solve the problem? Next is, write the number sentence in the problem. In the last one is, what is the complete answer? So children, think of the answer to all the questions based from the problem. For the number 1, what is asked? Let us check your answer, children. So your answer is the cost of Sipnayan's single issue. Very good. Number 2 questions. What are the facts given in the problem in order to solve what is asked? Your answer is 2,388 pesos, 75 centavos for 65 issues. Yes, your answer is correct. Next step. What operation shall we use to solve the problem? Again, think of the operation to be used in the problem, children. What is now your answer? The answer is division. Yes, your answer is correct. The next question in the problem is, write the number sentence or the equation or the mathematical sentence. In order to get the answer, you have to write first the number sentence. So let's have 2,388 pesos and 75 centavos divided by 65 equals n. So you think of the answer. You have to write the complete answer. You divide 2,388 pesos and 75 centavos divided by 65. So your answer is 36 pesos and 75 centavos. Very good. A single issue of Sipnayan magazine costs 36 pesos and 75 centavos. All your answers are correct. Remember that in solving the problem, we have to follow the steps in order to solve word problems. Number 1 step, understand what are the questions to answer. What is asked? Second, what are the given facts or data? Number 2 step, under plan. What operation shall we use to solve the problem? Step number 3, under solve. The question to be answered are, write the number sentence, the equation or mathematical sentence. In the last one, what is the complete answer? Again, I'm Teacher Loida, your teacher today. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye, children. So, don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do by John Wooden.